Delta 71, go ahead.
I'm with the Vancouver Police Department. I think I've got your son's bike here.
Hey, my bike's here.
Hey buddy, is that your bike?
Hello and welcome to the Vancouver Police Department Recruiting Unit Information Session. I'm Sergeant Cindy Vance. I've been a member with the VPD for the last 26 years and with a recruiting unit for the last little over a year.
I'm Sergeant Matt Maggio of the Vancouver Police Department's Recruiting Unit, and I've been with the VPD for 22 years.
We understand there's options in the Lower Mainland, there's other agencies to apply for, but we're just going to go over a few things just to reiterate some of the aspects of the VPD that we think are really important. We're the biggest municipal agency in the Lower Mainland, in the province. Not only are we the biggest, but we have the longest and most prestigious history. The VPD has been in existence since 1886. From there, we've gained a lot of experience, a lot of time developed. We've got that history that is really important and makes us really unique in that way. Vancouver is also a major metropolitan city. We are on the world stage. So whenever there's a major event, whether it be Olympics or some sort of conference or world leaders or politics, it's all centered in Vancouver. When there's anything that's happening on a world stage, VPD is looked at as the leader. And you want to be a part of that, then you want to come to be with us with the VPD. Our organization is also very progressive. We were the very first department back in 1912 to hire female police officers. Now, today, we are at about 26% of our department is females. So again, progressive in a time when there weren't even any other police departments that were even considering hiring females, and we had the first two in 1912. In terms of diversity, again, very diverse, very inclusive. We represent the community that we serve. We have members from all different cultures, religions, backgrounds, come from various different countries around the world. We represent the community that we serve, and you will be welcomed into our agency no matter where you're from. We have over 130 different community programs that engage with the community, that involve with communicating with what the community wants and providing them with various programs and services from our members and our organization. So in terms of a community level grassroots connection with the citizens of Vancouver, that's exactly what we're all about, whether it be community policing centers or just community programs in general. We have many, and many of our members are very, very invested in their communities.
Policing is a lifelong career and often a very consuming career at the same time. The foundation for any good policing career is going to be in operations, frontline policing, driving a police car, wearing a uniform, going to 911 calls, and chasing bad guys. If that doesn't excite you and that's not something you want to do, you should probably look at why you want to get into policing in the first place, and is this the right career for you? Some things to consider: court. Often you'll have court, sometimes after night shift and sometimes on your days off. Driving. Safe, aggressive driving, often at night in all different kinds of conditions. Shift work. Regularly working shifts, cycling through our different shift pattern, and often working night shifts is all part of a policing career. Most of our job involves talking with people and mediating through different situations. However, there are times when you will be expected to use force. You'll be dealing with violent, motivated criminals that really don't care that you're a police officer, so you will be expected to use force at some times. Sometimes you'll be required to work extended duty hours. The shift isn't always over after 11 or 12 hours, and sometimes will carry on for many more. Working weekends and holidays. You'll be required to work some weekends and holidays. You'll miss the occasional birthday. You'll miss the occasional Christmas. It's all part of being a police officer and working the variable shifts. Mandatory overtime. In some cases, you will be required to work overtime. The Olympics is a good example of this, the Stanley Cup and the Symphony of Fire. It's worth noting though, when you are required to work outside of your extra duty hours or you're required to work that extra overtime, you are compensated very well and you're often paid double time in those cases. In policing, you will be exposed to trauma, violence, and unpleasant events. Some people compare policing to being on the front seat of the roller coaster of life. This is very true. You'll see things that often are very unpleasant that most people don't experience and probably shouldn't experience. All of this being said, the demands that are placed on you as a police officer and the things that you're going to experience and go through during a career in policing, you are looked after. The Vancouver Police Department is a leader in how we look after our members. We have an entire unit dedicated towards peer support, helping our members navigate through their careers, maintain a healthy balance, and get through their careers productively and in good health. It's also important to mention that we have a great benefit package that includes sick time, psychological services, anything that our members need to maintain their mental health and their physical health throughout their career is provided on the job.
Now, as a police officer, what are some of the things you can expect? In terms of wage, you're looking at about a little over $102,000 per year as an annual wage, which is quite a decent wage to start with. And what you're looking at in terms of the actual role. As Sergeant Maggio said before, patrol is the backbone. It is the foundation for everything we do as police officers. So we're looking at a minimum of a 5-year commitment in the patrol section. You're not going to be considered for any specialty units until you've actually accomplished that 5 years. This is really important because in order to be successful in any of these specialty units, you really need to get that basis of education and development as a patrol level operational police officer. So we want to make sure that anyone that's considering applying to become a police officer, like we said, is coming into it knowing and wanting to be out on the road, answering 911 calls and being operational. The great thing again about Vancouver is that we have many specialty units to choose from, and really I like to think of it as you can cater your own career to what interests you. When you come into patrol and you spend those first 5 years or more in patrol, you'll get a real sense of where your interests are and how you want to develop your own career. We have over 100 different specialty units that you can take advantage of and cater your career towards as you go through. We have investigation sections where you're dealing with organized crime. Maybe you want to work with youth in the school liaison officer position. So lots to choose from, and with the VPD you have many options in order to further your career in various specialty units. We at the VPD have the Tactical Training Center, and the team in our training unit is world-class level. Agencies around the world are looking to us to see how we do things. So like I said earlier, your training with us, whether it be in tactical training or in courses, you will get the best. Our organization is always seeking to be innovative, to be progressive, and to always be first and foremost in the policing world. And finally, lifelong learning. That's really what the VPD is all about. This goes well beyond your training in the academy as a recruit. It really is leading edge in the training that we provide our members. And that's not just at the beginning of your career, but it goes throughout your career. We want to hire people that really want to come in and learn and take each day as an opportunity to get better and to develop themselves. And our organization really does value that and puts a lot of resources and effort into providing the very best training for our members. Okay, we're going to start with the VPD core values, or I CARE. Now, the reason we're starting here is because this really creates the foundation of our department and forms the basis for assessment of applicants. If an applicant does not possess the VPD core values, they will not be successful in our process. So let's start with I, integrity. Simply put, it's about being honest and forthcoming. As police officers, there's understandably a high level of expectation for us to be honest and have integrity in everything that we do. So it's absolutely essential for applicants to be honest at every stage of the process and to have integrity in all aspects of their lives. If there's any indication of a lack of integrity in an applicant, their file will be closed. Now, having said that, we absolutely understand that everyone has made mistakes in their life. We're not perfect, we're human. So especially as people are younger, they're going to make various decisions throughout their life. However, once an applicant makes a decision to pursue a career in law enforcement, we expect that their decisions and actions reflect a high level of integrity. C, for compassion. Dealing with people is the foundation of what we do every day. We're dealing with people from all different backgrounds, people that are suffering from addiction, mental health issues, homelessness, poverty, people who are really having the worst day of their lives. So it's essential that applicants are able to demonstrate to us that they have compassion and understanding for the people around them. Accountability. Now more than ever, police officers are held accountable for their decisions and their actions. From the Office of the Police Complaints Commissioner to the Independent Investigations Office, there is a significant level of independent oversight. We're given a great deal of authority and we are required to articulate and answer to our decisions both in the community as well as in court. This not only applies to our actions as on-duty members, but also behaviors off-duty. With the proliferation of cell phone video and social media, we always have to understand that we're representing police officers worldwide as well as our own department. So the decisions that we make, the associations that we have, the images that we post on social media really have to be reflective of the image that we want to portray as police officers. Respect. This is pretty straightforward. It is essential that we treat everyone with respect, no matter their background, their culture, their religion, their mental health. This not only applies to how we deal with the public, but how we deal with each other. The Vancouver Police Department is a very diverse organization, and we expect that all of our members value and respect each other at all levels. We are expected to act professionally at all times, and we are looking to hire people who demonstrate professionalism and respect for those around them. And finally, excellence. This really encompasses everything. We are looking for people who approach everything that they do with excellence. We have a high expectation of ourselves, and we have the same expectations for those we are considering bringing into our organization. Our most important job as a recruiting unit is to ensure that we hire people that are the very best, that meet the high level of expectation and standards of our serving members, and who will provide an excellent level of service for the citizens of Vancouver.
You must be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, be a minimum of 19 years of age or older, possess a grade 12 high school education or equivalent, and a minimum of 30 post-secondary credits. You also must possess the VPD visual acuity standards and hearing standards. Class 5 BC driver's license, standard first aid, and level C CPR. You do need to remember that this is a very competitive process. We get hundreds of applications. If you want to be competitive with us, you need to go above and beyond our basic qualifications.
You need to understand that you need to put your very best foot forward at every stage of the process. Dress to impress. No matter what stage you're at, you want to make sure that you are presenting as a professional. Whether you're dropping off your application forms, you're writing the written exam, or even showing up for the POPAT. You want to make sure that you present as a professional, you're well groomed, you're put together, and you are putting your best foot forward. And finally, you need to know about the Vancouver Police Department. You need to do your homework. Go online, go to our website at JoinVpd.ca, and do your homework to know what it is that we're all about. Any lack of knowledge really just indicates a lack of preparation and commitment on your part. We want to see those that are really interested in being a part of our organization know who we are and what we're all about.
To be a competitive applicant in our process, you have to possess some of the following qualifications and skills. University education. Anything above the minimum 30 credits of post-secondary will help elevate you around other candidates. A college diploma, a degree. That degree doesn't necessarily have to be in criminal justice. That seems to be the popular one. It can really be in anything you're interested in. Business, finance, accounting, those are all examples of education you can pursue, different from criminology, that will make you competitive in our process. We do also consider other trades training, Red Seal tickets in lieu of education, sometimes military training, leadership training, that kind of thing. We'll consider that on a case-by-case basis and use that in lieu of your post-secondary university education. Relevant work experience. Any employment where you're dealing with the public, working in a management position, a leadership position, is considered relevant work experience for us. That can be working with the Canada Border Services Agency, working in corrections, as a security guard in a hospital, working in the military. Those are all examples of relevant work experience. It doesn't have to be that. It can be something completely outside of policing and something completely outside of the paramilitary world. Working as a park ranger, there's another good example of some relevant work experience that you can get. It just shows us that you can deal with the public, interact with the public, and diffuse conflict when you need to. Volunteer work. You need to have volunteer work to be competitive in our process. Our police officers and our police department is engaged heavily with the community, and you need to demonstrate to us that you're also engaged with the community. There can be opportunities to volunteer within the policing world through our community police offices, but it doesn't have to be a police-related volunteer experience. You can volunteer in anything that you're interested or passionate about. Volunteering with youth, coaching athletics, those are good examples of some volunteer work that you can pursue to make yourself competitive in our process. We're looking for applicants with strong life experience. Anything in your life where you've demonstrated maturity, your ability to overcome adversity, and your ability to be resilient are what we're looking for as recruiters. Personal achievements. Anything that shows your dedication and your commitment to excellence. Varsity sports, athletic awards, running a marathon, those are all examples of high personal achievements. Academic awards are another example of this, as well as maybe you've traveled and done some humanitarian work. Those are all examples of personal achievements. Integrity. Sergeant Vance touched on integrity at the beginning of the presentation. It comes up, it's one of our core values. Integrity is hugely important throughout our entire process. If you don't possess integrity, you probably shouldn't be applying for a career in law enforcement.
Okay, let's go over the whole application process from beginning to end. First step is your application forms. This is pretty straightforward. You need to go to JoinVpd.ca and follow the prompts. We'll go into that in more detail later, and pull up the application forms. Unfortunately, we're still in the process of developing more online process, but at this point, you're going to need to pull those forms off, print them out, and fill them out. The really important piece to this is that you take your time with the Integrity and Lifestyle Questionnaire. It's a fairly detailed form. It asks a lot of different personal questions, and it's really important that you take your time and fill them out to the best of your ability. Do not leave anything out. You want to make sure that if there's even any question that whether something applies, it's best to just include it in there, and we'll determine if it's an issue or not. The last thing you want to do is omit including something and it later becoming an issue and potentially an issue of integrity. Okay, the next stage is a written exam. So if you've been successful to get through your application process and there's no major concerns, you'll be scheduled for a written exam. This is basically a standard ethos test. It's standard across the various municipal departments in the Lower Mainland. You can do a little bit of research on that, going online, looking up ethos police entrance exams, and just get a little bit of an idea of what to expect. Now, the passing score for the ethos exam for police members is 60% and 50% for special municipal constables. Again, we're always looking for better scores throughout this process, so 60% is a pass, but of course you want to be prepared and be able to get the best score you can. Third stage here is the physical testing. It's the POPAT for police officers and the COPAT for SMCs. It is a fairly demanding test, but absolutely achievable. You can go online and get some insights into how to prepare for that.
We're not looking for applicants that show up to the test and they're barely passing. We're looking for applicants that show up prepared and they've made fitness a part of their life and their lifestyle. We find that in policing, if you're fit and you maintain a healthy lifestyle, you'll have a long and more productive career. We also find that people are fit and carry on that lifestyle are more resilient. You do need to practice for this test. The POPAT and COPAT are not the kind of tests that you want to come in and do cold for the first time on your test day. There is some technique involved. You're going to want to make yourself familiar with the obstacles and the different machinery in the test. The opportunities we do have to practice are through our athletic therapist, Rebecca Swan. Her contact information is on the screen. You do have to be part of our process if you want to participate in practice sessions. We do encourage you, it's almost a must to practice that test before you go in and you do it for your application process.
I'm going to speak right to the females right now. I want you to be really clear that this is absolutely attainable for everybody, all sizes. But in order to be successful and to get a good competitive score, you need to train and you need to train effectively. Not only are we testing your physical fitness, but we're testing your drive, your determination, your attitude of never giving up. There's certain things that you need to be able to do, and as Sergeant Maggio mentioned, Rebecca Swan will be able to help prepare you for this. But it's something that is probably a little bit different than what you've planned for before. It's going to go beyond you taking your yoga class. Not that that's a bad thing, but you want to understand that you need to prepare very well and effectively in order to be successful. Our passing score is the same for males and females. We're doing the same job as our male counterparts. We need to make sure that we are prepared to do the job, and we have the backs of our male colleagues. They know that we are there, we are physically fit, and we're capable. And you are 100% able to do this. You just need to be able to get in your head to train effectively, hard, and never give up. Okay, the next stage is the intake interview. So again, if you've been successful up to this point, you'll be scheduled for an interview with 2 detectives, sometimes 3. This is where you really want to make sure you're prepared, you're coming prepared, professional, business suit, business attire, and really have the opportunity to put your best foot forward. They'll be going, the interview is a professional interview. You'll be going over your ILQ, or your integrity and lifestyle questionnaires, your answers to that. And you'll be given an opportunity to provide examples of you demonstrating how you've gone through various work experience, what you bring to the table, and what you have to offer as a potential police officer with the VPD. The next stage is psychological testing. So if your intake interview goes well, you'll be brought back in to do what we call the Personality Assessment Inventory, or the PAI. Really no way to prepare for this. It's basically just a personality and mental health assessment. Okay, the next stage is the polygraph exam. So, as we said all the way through this process, it's all about integrity and being honest at each step of the way. So this is where you're going to be scheduled with a polygraph examiner. They'll have your file, they'll have your answers to your integrity and lifestyle questionnaire and every aspect of your file. They'll be interviewing you and then putting you on the polygraph machine. So again, we reiterate this through each stage, and when you're in the interview and all aspects of your process, you want to make sure that you're honest, and we are going to be just another stage of testing your honesty and your candor. Now, the next stage is the sergeant interview. So this is not as intensive interview as the intake interview, but it is an opportunity for myself and Sergeant Maggio to meet with you in person. We've seen your file as you've progressed through the process, but this is just an opportunity for us to get to meet you in person, go over any questions we might have with you, and determine whether or not you're going to move forward in the process. If that interview goes well, you'll be scheduled for, you'll be set up with your background investigator and set up for your medical examination. This is only for police applicants, and this goes beyond your basic entry-level physical exam, heart rate and whatnot. This is a fairly intensive process. You'll be testing all aspects of your health, your fitness, if you have any injuries or any underlying issues, all that will be assessed. So you need to be prepared for that again. Basically what they're doing there is assessing whether or not you're fit for police duties. Okay, the final stage is the background investigation stage. This is where you'll be assigned to a recruiting unit detective, and they will do a comprehensive review of your entire recruiting file. This will include not only your VPD file, but also any applications that you have with any other agencies. They'll be speaking with your references, both employment and character, as well as other people that they deem appropriate to interview, in order to just get a good sense as to who you are and whether you have the qualifications and you're suitable to be hired as a VPD police officer. In the situation where we believe you do show potential to become a police officer, but you're not quite there yet, you'll be given a deferral. This can vary from 1 to 2 years, and at that point what we'll do is we'll provide you with some guidance and give you some ideas as to what we're looking for you for further development and more experience. When you return after your deferral, it will not be an automatic reactivation. You'll need to show us that what the steps you've taken to actually better yourself and make yourself a more competitive applicant. Taking the information that we've given you, the guidance we've given you, and what you've done to accomplish those goals. If you do not meet the standards, expectations, and VPD core values, your file will be closed and you will not be considered to be hired as a VPD police officer. This can happen at any stage of the process, whether it be the first stage of assessing your forms or all the way to the final stage of the background investigation. Our role in the VPD recruiting unit is to identify those who are best suited to become police officers or special municipal constables, but it's just as important to identify those that are not quite ready or suited for the role. The great thing about the VPD is we have the Special Municipal Constable program. So if you don't feel you're prepared to go right into the police officer process, you can apply to the SMC program.
We don't generally hire people into this program if we don't see you being successful as a regular member. We often refer to the SMC program as our farm team. We don't just hire you into the program and forget about you. We want to see you continue to develop, use the program to your benefit, and carry on and be successful as a regular member. These are all uniform positions. You'll be wearing a VPD uniform, driving a marked vehicle, and representing the VPD to the public and the citizens of Vancouver.
If you apply to become a police officer and in your process of your recruiting process, we might determine that the SMC program is better suited for you and move you into that process.
This program is unique in Vancouver. This is a great opportunity for applicants that aren't necessarily ready to become regular members. Maybe you're going to school, you want to gain a little more experience for your regular member application. This program is really tailored for you. The requirements are not as robust as that of a regular member. The basic qualifications are a little bit less. The process is a little bit shorter, and there's different streams that you can work in that'll really build your resume and help you be successful as a regular member. I want to first talk about the Community Safety Personnel, the CSP. As a CSP, you'll be assisting the frontline members with lower risk tasks. You'll be managing outer perimeters at major events and incidents. You'll be collecting statements, and you'll also be tagging seized property at our property office. The starting wage for a CSP is around $22 an hour. Next is the Vancouver Jail Guard. As a jail guard, you'll be responsible for booking, searching, and escorting inmates in the Vancouver jail. You'll also be responsible for responding to any sort of emergency within the Vancouver jail. The starting wage for a jail guard is around $26 an hour. You'll also have the opportunity to work as a traffic authority member. As a traffic authority member, you'll be responsible for directing vehicle and pedestrian traffic at different events and major incidents throughout the city. The starting wage for a traffic authority is $22 an hour. If you're in school or you're trying to finish your university education, you can also work as an SMC, do the training part-time, do the work part-time, and put yourself through school at the same time. The training is 20 to 22 weeks, typically happens evenings and weekends, and allows you to finish up your education. Go to JoinVpd.ca and you'll be able to get all the details on our different qualifications and the process to be an SMC member. We also offer a full-time summer class. This is a 17 to 18 week training program, and it runs Monday through Friday.
Okay, so as you can see, the SMC program is an excellent stepping stone, or like we said, farm team into the police department. We actually hire about 50 to 60% of all of our recruits have actually come through the SMC program. So it's a great stepping stone, as I said, into the recruit process. It's really important to have a backup plan. As we've mentioned many times, this is a very competitive process and there are hundreds of other applicants that are applying. So you need to understand that not everyone is going to be successful or isn't going to be successful on their first attempt. So if you're not successful in our process, there are lots of other positions in the criminal justice system to consider, whether that be corrections or sheriffs, or even in areas such as private security. So that's just a quick overview of the entire process. You can get lots more details if you go to our website at www.JoinVpd.ca. How to apply. So we're just going to go through a quick little demonstration here. So you're going to go to Google and type in JoinVpd.ca, click on the website, and scroll down until you find there are different positions. So you've got the SMC, police officer, and experienced officer. So you click on police officer, you want to scroll down further. There's lots of information as you can see here. Click on the process, and the highlighted versions there, application package and integrity and lifestyle questionnaire. You're going to click on each one of those individually, and you're going to pull up the forms that you're going to need to fill out. Go ahead and fill those out manually. It does sound a little bit archaic, I do understand. We are working towards having a more electronic online forms to fill out, but at this point you're going to be filling them out by hand. If you make a mistake, print off another form and start that page over again. We want to make sure that you are attention to detail and your first impression is the best possible one you can put forward. Put that package together in an envelope, put attention recruiting, and either bring it in person to our main headquarters in Vancouver, which is 2120 Canby Street, or you can put it in the mail. The best part about the VPD is the people. The people really are what make our organization what it is today. And we mentioned and alluded to it earlier, but we are truly a family. If you come from an environment where you're playing team sports, or you feel a real connection to a team environment or family environment, that's exactly what you're getting with the VPD. From the chief down, everybody is a part of a family. We look after each other, we take care of one another, and you really do feel like you're part of something really special. Not only are you as individuals and members of the VPD part of our family, but so are your families. You will often find the chief speaking at major events, and he speaks directly to the members, but he's also speaking to the members' families. We are all in this together, and we want to support one another, and that's exactly what the VPD is all about. If you want to be part of something dynamic, progressive, inclusive, and diverse, you want to be a part of our organization. That's what the VPD is all about, and those are the reasons why the Vancouver Police Department is the place to be.
I was always looking for creative challenges as a kid. Now, as a special constable with the VPD, I keep finding new and bigger challenges.
Ever since I can remember, I loved working with people. Now, with the VPD, I'm not just working with people, I'm helping them.
Go ahead and take a look through the eyepiece and adjust the knobs.
I've always been curious, and I thought police forensics was the coolest thing. Now, I'm a full-time forensic identification officer with the VPD. And it's even cooler than I thought.
I've always loved animals as a kid, especially horses. That hasn't changed. Now, it's my job. Riding with the VPD mounted unit.
When I was a boy, they said that dogs are a man's best friend. And they really make a difference in your life.
Right.
Now, my dog is my best friend and my partner. And we make a difference to the whole city.
VPD. Be the change you seek.